This review has been made possible by Toyota of Naperville. As you know, Toyota has tons of brand new Toyotas available for purchase, but did you know that they also have a remarkable selection of used cars? Head on over to toyotaofnaperville.com and look through hundreds of used cars for sale right now.
Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2020 Hyundai Sonata. Up front is a 1.6 liter turbocharged inline 4 and down below is an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now I'm super excited to be driving this here Sonata for two main reasons. First of all, this is my first review officially of 2021, so welcome back. I'm so excited to be back doing reviews for the 2021 year. But the second and more important reason of why I'm so excited for this year's Sonata is because I think this car looks great. I think it's very modern, and when I went to the 2020 Chicago Auto Show, this was one of the cars that really stole the show for me. I thought it was a really good redesign. I thought it looked great. And on the car ride home from the auto show, this was the car that I was thinking about. So I'm excited to finally get behind the wheel of one and see how they are outside of the auto show and actually on the streets. Before we get on with the video, if you are looking to sell your car, click the link in the description below. Cashforcars.com is looking to buy your car with a clean title, salvage title, running, non-running, whatever it is. Get a quick and easy free quote with the link down in the description below. And once you agree upon the price, they will pick up your car in less than 24 hours. You don't even have to get off the couch. So let's get back to that 1.6 liter turbocharged inline 4. Well, it makes about 178 horsepower, 195 foot-pounds of torque. Now, it's nothing crazy. However, this is a Sonata, and I think, honestly, those numbers are fine enough. We're warmed up here on the test track. I'll put it into sport mode, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. I do have paddle shifters. It is snowing as well, so struggling for traction. Traction control definitely kicked in. But once traction control kicked in and my phone fell on its face, that's the crashing noise you heard, it's actually, it feels zippy. It feels good. It doesn't feel underpowered. You might be thinking, oh, 1.6 turbo in that big sedan. It's fine. I think it's fine. Another thing I like about the 1.6 turbo is the fuel economy. 27 miles to the gallon in the city, 36 miles to the gallon on the highway, which is fantastic for a vehicle this size. And I think that's really something that would draw me towards the Sonata with the smaller engine as opposed to another vehicle, say the Mazda 6, which I have a review coming out for tomorrow, the 2020 Mazda 6. However, if fuel economy is the name of your game, they do have a hybrid version of the Sonata, but we won't talk about that too much because this isn't it. However, you can seek that out if you'd like to do so. Last but not least, the Sonata is front-wheel drive, and it's front-wheel drive only. Now, a lot of people say, oh, you're an all-wheel drive purist. I recently bought an all-wheel drive car. Well, the reason for that is, look around me. The weather conditions here in Chicago are terrible. It was snowing super hard, and now the sun is coming out. I don't understand it. And so I want a vehicle that's going to be ready for anything. All-wheel drive isn't the end-all be-all, but at least it gives me a little bit extra comfort when I go out on the road in a snowstorm. The other reason I am a little annoyed with that is the fact that the K5, the Kia K5, of which is a very similar vehicle to this, made by the same company, does come with all-wheel drive offered. And so, because this was freshly redesigned in 2020, I feel like they sort of missed that mark on offering all-wheel drive. Allegedly, though, they might be coming out with it in the coming years. An inline Hyundai Sonata might have all-wheel drive, but of course, that's just internet speculation. According to internet speculation, I'm 175 pounds and 6'1". So I don't know who to believe. With all that being said, let's talk about the interior. We have a couple interesting things to talk about in here. Well, in front of me, I have digital gauges. Now, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but I think there's two trends that are really going to define the 2020s when it comes to vehicles. The first off is those digital gauges. I love the look of them. I think they're really, really special. I think they look crisp, and I think they look very, very modern. The needles both move very smoothly. It doesn't look like a low frame rate screen. They didn't stick an NES behind the steering wheel. It actually looks good. It looks modern. It looks fresh. And I love that. On the left is my fuel, then my speedometer with the speed in digits in the center, which I really like. In the center is my radar cruise options. And on the right, I have my tachometer, tire pressure, and coolant temperature. Now I could change that tire pressure gauge to a couple of different things that I'm cycling through here on the screen, which I like the information that the Sonata gives you. I don't need intake air temperatures like Fords give you or trans temps. This is all the basic info I need, and I like it. It looks very clean and crisp. However, my favorite part about the gauges is the fact that they are slightly customizable. I don't know if this counts, but when you put it into sport mode, you get a really cool animation for switching modes, and I absolutely love that. To me, if your car has digital gauges, it should have some fanfare that goes with it. Give me transition slides. Give me cool animations. It's a screen. It should be able to do whatever I want. And I really, really like it when the vehicle's put into sport. I get this explosion and the gauges turn red. Really, really love that. On the steering wheel, on the left is my voice commands, mode, phone options, volume, and track change. And on the right is my pages button, which sort of zooms in on those smaller changes I was making to the gauge on the right. So I'll skip through a couple of other interesting things here in the digital gauges. Really, really like that. But then I also have my radar cruise control options on the right, as well as my steering assist, things like that. I like the steering wheel. There's this sort of swooping hoop at the bottom that I'm not so sure about. It's an interesting design cue. However, I do have paddle shifters, which is very, very nice. To the left of me, I have my gauge dimmer switch, lane keep assist, trunk release, traction control, and my power parking brake, which is interesting that this car does have auto holding brakes, and they split up the power parking brake switch and the auto holding brake, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. On the door, I have my power windows, power locks, and power mirrors. The door card is very thick. However, it doesn't really compromise legroom. It just looks very wide as I'm looking at it right now. Very interesting. Moving into the center, I do have a nice touchscreen infotainment system, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, pretty much anything you want out of a modern screen. This screen will do. Nothing really too crazy here. Unfortunately, I don't really have any fun or cool or funky apps that I could play around with in here, besides voice memo. Voice memo is kind of fun, and I can go to driving info, and it gives me how well I'm driving, speed distribution, acceleration, deceleration, things like that. That is very fun, but other than that, no real fanfare here in the center screen. However, we will talk about the backup camera, which I think looks great, has a very nice resolution for a vehicle like this. Very clear, very easy to see, and when you turn your wheel, it changes the trajectory on screen, which is very, very helpful. And I wish all cars do this, but not all backup cameras have this feature, so I'm happy it's here in the Sonata. Below the center screen, 2 climate control vents and our hazard switch, and then our climate controls. I do have heated seats, which are almost unlabeled. I had to look around to find the heated seats at first, but this does have heated seats, dual zone climate, auto climate, things like that. Pretty much anything that a modern car should have climate control wise, this vehicle has. Then down below, I do have a 12-volt outlet, a USB charger, as well as USB in, and a wireless charging pad at the very bottom. I love this. I love this feature. You could just place your phone here. Charges, great, very, very modern. Down below that, on the center console, we have the shifter itself. The shifter itself is a little funky. It is just push buttons for park, reverse, neutral, and drive. Very, very Honda, which is interesting. However, I don't really mind it. I think it's really funny that when you put it in park, it does this little dance and like turns on all of the lights, like does this little flash pattern. I think it's kind of interesting. But it's easy to use, easy to see, and that's all I really worry about. Down below the shifter, I have my drive mode selector, which is very, very wide, very easy to hit. And we have a couple different drive modes. We have smart, normal, sport, and custom. Now, like I said, it has those fun animations between the gauges. However, the thing I like about sport is that not only it sharpens up those shifts and things like that, but it actually stiffens up the steering as well. It actually adds nice steering feel which a couple other cars tend to sort of forget about. So I like the sport mode feeling. Then at the very bottom, I have my auto holding brake, which I mentioned earlier. This is a great feature. When you come up to a stop, you can take your foot off the brake and the car won't move. Absolutely amazing for drive-throughs, traffic, things like that. For our first ever Big Friggin' Bottle test, a new segment here in my reviews for 2021, we have to give the Sonata, unfortunately, a fail. The bottle does not touch the bottom of the cup holder, which is my stipulation. So, I'm sorry, Sonata, that's a fail. Now we got to talk about the seats. The seats are very comfortable. Like I said, they're heated and they are power. They are not memory. However, this is not the top trim of the Sonata, so I'm not mad about that. I also think that they look nice. I like this sort of red stitching. However, I wish that there was more red stitching throughout the rest of the car. There is some on the steering wheel, but I just now noticed it. It wasn't very apparent to me quickly. But speaking of seats, let's do a backseat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2020 Hyundai Sonata. Now, a couple things back here. First of all, I do have a single USB charger, which I really, really like. Door cards also feel very thick back here, but it's not impeding on my space. It just feels that way. I do have the center console, 2 cup holders back here, and the seats feel as high quality as the front seats, which I really, really like. Some vehicles just don't care about the back seats and it feels like they're made out of twigs, but this actually, it feels nice. Headroom is okay. I'm 5'11". When I sit all the way up, I can feel my hair starting to hit the ceiling just a little bit. Knee room is great. This is my driving position, which can obviously be moved up. So overall, the back seat, very, very nice. I really, really like the back seat. It feels great. And for a vehicle like this, this is what I really look for. A big sedan like this, I want more back seat space than, say, a Hyundai Elantra. This definitely has more back seat space than a Hyundai Elantra, and I really, really like it. Now we will go take a quick look at the cargo space. Once we are in the trunk, we have a Velcroed down Hyundai first aid kit. But the space back here is pretty good. I like the space a lot. Like I said, bigger size sedan. You do get a fair amount of room back here. You have a nice little cargo net, things like that. Nothing really wowing me. I do have these nice little pull tabs to release the second row, which is nice. However, again, nothing too crazy for the trunk. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and this is one of my favorite parts of the Sonata. Well, first of all, we gotta talk about the color. This is glowing yellow, and this is not a color that you should surprise your significant other with. You should not go, hey honey, I bought a car. Oh, let's go see it. Oh, couldn't we have talked about that before you did that? This is not a surprise me color. This is not a surprise. However, I think it looks okay. And I think gold is really making a comeback now. I think we're going to see a lot more gold cars in the market. But look at those headlights. They go pretty much halfway up the car. And they're super distinctive. And that LED light strip is awesome at night. It doesn't produce a lot of light. It's not supposed to. But it looks great. When I line up across from one of these at night at a stoplight, I know exactly what that car is immediately. And Kia also did this with the Kia K5. Very interesting headlights on the K5, as well as the Kia Sorento. The new Audi vehicles are starting to do this little dance. It's like Tetris in their headlights. I think we're really going to start to see headlights become sort of a defining trend of the 2020s, and I am absolutely here for it. That's what really caught my attention of this vehicle at the Chicago Auto Show, and I think it looks so striking and so modern in blue. This color, it looks great for thumbnails. Great for thumbnails. Love that. But, you know, it's kind of the color of excrement. Speaking of exteriors, if you are legally required to run a front plate on your vehicle in the state or country that you live in, but you think it's too ugly, then click the link in the description below and get yourself a con plate. The con plate holder is a suction cup holder for your license plate that goes on the inside of your windshield. This means you can remain legal when driving around, but for pictures, for shows, it's easily removable from the windshield, so the front of your car looks its best. Click the link in the description below, get your own con plate, and keep your car looking good. So, my final thoughts on the 2020 Hyundai Sonata. Well, this is the first year for this body style of Sonata. And I was really excited by that. And I really, really genuinely believe that this is a great sedan. This is really, really good. I am thoroughly enjoying this vehicle. I think it has great features, even though this is not the top trim level of the Sonata. I think it has great features. I think it looks good. As long as you don't get this color, I think it looks really good. And it's modern, it's fresh. If I buy this car, I am going to feel like I am at the tip of the arrow. This is as modern and as fresh as it gets right now. And I absolutely love that. And buying a new car, that's part of the charm of buying a new car, is that, you know, you feel like you're on top. You feel like you have the most cutting edge vehicle on the market. And this definitely feels that way. That can't be said about modern Cadillacs. Modern Cadillacs feel very dated, even the 2020s. That can't be said about the modern Nissan Frontier. That thing hasn't been redesigned since 2008. This does. This gives you a good feeling. And like I said, the top two trends of the 2020s, the digital gauges and funky headlights, this car checks both of those boxes. So I think this thing's going to look fresh and modern for quite some time. And that's awesome. That's really, really great. Plus, great fuel economy. I barely touched on it, but 36 miles to the gallon on the highway is great for a sedan like this. Just great. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Toyota of Naperville for letting me take out their used 2020 Hyundai Sonata. I really love this car, and I'm very, very happy that Toyota of Naperville gave me the opportunity to finally drive one. They are absolutely awesome. We've been working together for over 2 years now, which is super exciting. Very, very thorough dealership. They will find the right car for you. Their information is up on the screen, as well as linked in the description below. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.